What happens when a grandmother's offer to help turns her world upside down? Caring for her grandchildren seemed simple, until chaos, tears, and heartbreak pushed her to the brink. Martha Lewis awoke before dawn, the old familiar ache in her knees reminding her it would be another long day. She shuffled to the kitchen, brewed coffee, and set the table for one. As the sun crept up, painting the curtains gold, she scanned her to-do list: pick up groceries, water the hydrangeas, call her sister in Florida. She never could have predicted how much her life would change with a single phone call that morning. The call came at 7:22 a.m. Her daughter Karen's number flashed across the screen. Martha smiled. Calls were rare these days, usually short, always rushed. "Mama, can you help?" Karen's voice cracked, rushed and panicked. "It's an emergency. Rick's mother fell. Rick's flying to Texas, and I have to go with him. There's no one else to watch the kids." Without hesitation, Martha said yes. "Of course, honey, bring them over. I'll take care of everything." Karen sounded relieved, her voice melting with gratitude and stress. By noon, Martha's quiet home transformed into chaos. 10-year-old Lily stormed in first, dragging a suitcase and a duffel bag, already glued to her tablet. Her little brother Max, age 6, followed, arms full of stuffed animals, eyes wide with confusion. Karen hugged Martha tight, then knelt to hug the kids, whispering a list of reminders: medications, allergies, bedtimes. She pressed a paper schedule into Martha's palm, gave one last hug, and rushed out the door with Rick, promising to call. The door clicked shut. Silence. Then, a wail from Max. His favorite dinosaur toy was missing. Martha dropped to her knees, searching under couches and behind the coats, trying to soothe him. Lily groaned, tossing her bag in the hallway, stomping upstairs to claim her old room, muttering about slow Wi-Fi. Martha led Max to the kitchen, promising pancakes for lunch. As she mixed batter, he tugged at her sleeve, demanding the blue plate, then the red cup, then changing his mind altogether. Pancakes burned, syrup spilled, and Max burst into tears. Martha cleaned up, her patience fraying. Upstairs, Lily screamed. Her tablet wouldn't connect. Martha hurried to help, fumbling with passwords and cables while Lily groaned in frustration. "Why is everything so old here?" she snapped. Martha's hands shook as she tried to remember the Wi-Fi password she'd written on a faded sticky note, now lost somewhere on her desk. Lunch was a battle. Max refused to eat, wanting cereal instead. Lily pushed her food around, eyes glued to her screen. Martha's kitchen, usually neat, was soon a landscape of dirty dishes and spilled milk. She cleaned, coaxed, and cajoled, feeling the pressure build. Afternoon brought its own challenges. Lily demanded a trip to the mall. Max wanted to watch cartoons. Martha suggested a walk in the park. Lily scoffed. "That's boring." Max flung his shoes across the room in protest. Martha finally found Max's dinosaur in the laundry basket, earning a sticky hug and a shriek from Lily, who'd stepped in syrup on the floor. When evening fell, Martha managed baths. Max splashed water everywhere, soaking the bathroom rug. Lily sulked in the hallway, complaining that the water was too cold. Pajamas were another struggle. Max wanted to sleep in his jeans. Lily refused the quilt on her bed. At bedtime, Martha tried reading a story. Max interrupted every sentence. Lily sighed and rolled her eyes. Eventually, both children drifted to sleep, sprawled across the bed, their faces soft in the lamplight. Martha stood in the doorway, exhaustion pulling at her bones. She went downstairs, surveying the wreckage: scattered toys, crumpled towels, a cold cup of coffee on the counter. She missed the peace of her old routine, the gentle quiet of the house before this storm of childhood needs and noise. Yet beneath her fatigue was a flicker of love, fierce and raw. That night, Martha lay awake listening for cries, bracing herself for the days ahead, her heart pounding with a mix of worry, hope, and uncertainty. The next morning, Martha woke to the shrill call of "Grandma!" echoing down the hall. Max had climbed into her bed sometime before dawn, his small feet jammed against her back. Now, he bounced on the mattress, giggling and demanding breakfast. From upstairs, Lily shouted, "I need a charger. My tablet's dead." The day began in chaos. Martha made toast and scrambled eggs, cutting the crusts off just how Max liked. He took one look and declared he wanted waffles instead. "No, pancakes. No, just fruit." He pushed the plate away, pouting. Lily finally wandered in, hair tangled, face buried in her tablet. "Do you have oat milk?" she asked, barely glancing up. Martha poured regular milk, hoping Lily wouldn't notice. After breakfast, Martha corralled the kids into the living room. She suggested building a puzzle, but Lily rolled her eyes and scrolled through TikTok. Max dumped Legos on the rug, sending tiny bricks flying everywhere. Martha knelt to help him build a spaceship, but Max quickly lost interest, deciding to color instead, on the coffee table. Martha caught him just in time, scrubbing purple crayon from the wood with a sigh. By mid-morning, the phone rang. Karen's voice crackled with exhaustion from the airport. "How are the kids?" "They're lively," Martha replied, choosing her words carefully. "We'll call before bedtime." "Thank you, Mom. We couldn't do this without you." Martha swallowed her own worries, assuring her daughter all was well. The hours crawled by. Martha wrangled Max into clean clothes for a trip to the grocery store, arguing over which shoes he would wear. Lily refused to go, insisting she'd stay home unless I can buy candy. Martha didn't want to leave her alone, but relented when Lily sulked and slammed her bedroom door. At the store, Max wanted everything: cereal with marshmallows, neon gummy worms, a giant balloon shaped like a shark. He whined, grabbing at boxes and nearly tipping over a pyramid of apples. Martha apologized to the clerk, feeling the eyes of other shoppers on her as Max staged a tantrum in the checkout line over a plastic toy he couldn't have. Back home, Lily emerged long enough to grab a snack, then retreated upstairs, music blaring through her closed door. Martha unpacked groceries and coaxed Max into helping with lunch: peanut butter sandwiches, carrot sticks, and apple slices. Max nibbled, crumbs everywhere, while Martha tidied up behind him. After lunch, she declared screen-free time. Lily protested loudly, insisting it was unfair and boring. Max whined and flopped on the floor. Martha suggested playing outside, but Lily declared it was too hot. Finally, Martha herded them into the backyard, praying for peace. Max ran circles around the garden, chasing butterflies and tripping over his own shoes. Lily sat on the porch swing, scrolling her phone until Martha insisted she put it away. Lily snapped, "You're so old-fashioned, Grandma." Martha ignored the sting and pulled out sidewalk chalk, drawing flowers and hopscotch squares until Max joined in, his laughter finally lightening the air. By late afternoon, both children were filthy and tired. Martha bathed Max, who splashed water everywhere, and finally convinced Lily to take a shower. Martha set up a movie night, hoping to calm the evening. Popcorn spilled, Max fell asleep halfway through, and Lily only looked up from her phone when the credits rolled. At bedtime, there were tears. Max missed his mom, Lily grumbled about her boring grandma. Martha read stories and rubbed Max's back until he drifted off. Lily sat at the end of her bed, scrolling her phone, barely acknowledging Martha's goodnight kiss. Downstairs, Martha collapsed into her armchair, surrounded by the detritus of the day. Socks under the table, a half-eaten apple on the floor, toys wedged in the couch cushions. Her heart ached with love and exhaustion, her mind spinning with doubts. Could she really handle all of this, even for a few days? As she turned off the lights and climbed the stairs, Martha wondered how she'd ever survive until Karen and Rick returned. The third day dawned cold and gray, rain spattering against the kitchen window. Martha had barely slept. Max had woken twice in the night, crying for his mother. Lily, upset by a dream, had stomped down the hall and demanded to sleep in the living room, just for tonight. Martha shuffled through the morning in a fog, clutching her coffee as the children bickered over the TV remote. Breakfast was a battleground. Max wanted pancakes again, but Lily insisted on cereal. Then, seeing only plain cornflakes, declared there was nothing good to eat in this house. Martha made toast, offering jam and fruit, but neither child seemed satisfied. Max pouted, Lily muttered under her breath, and Martha felt her patience slipping with every small complaint. By mid-morning, the rain forced everyone indoors. Max built a fort out of cushions and blankets, dragging every pillow in the house into the living room. Martha helped at first, then realized he'd appended the bookcase for extra support. Books and toys lay scattered everywhere. Meanwhile, Lily refused to help, staying glued to her phone, texting friends and rolling her eyes at any suggestion for board games or crafts. Martha called Karen for support, but only reached voicemail. She left a message, voice trembling only slightly, assuring her daughter all was fine. The sense of isolation grew. Her friends were busy, the neighbors away, and the weather shut them in together, forced to navigate each other's moods. The afternoon grew harder. Max threw a tantrum over missing a cartoon he liked, collapsing on the floor, wailing and kicking until Martha picked him up, rocking him gently in the big chair. She hummed lullabies from When Karen Was a Child, trying to remember the last time she'd sung to someone so small and sad. Lily, left alone, sulked and slammed her bedroom door, music blaring from her speakers. When Martha checked on her, Lily snapped, "Just leave me alone." Martha retreated, heart heavy, remembering Karen at the same age. Moody, distant, aching for independence. To escape the tension, Martha baked cookies with Max flour dust to the counter, chocolate chips rolled underfoot, and for a few sweet minutes, Max giggled, sticky with dough. The warm smell drifted through the house, and even Lily emerged, drawn by the promise of dessert. She grabbed 2 cookies, mumbling a quick thanks before disappearing again. After lunch, a package arrived for Lily, a forgotten birthday gift from her dad. She brightened, tearing it open to find a hoodie from her favorite band. She FaceTimed Rick, gushing her thanks. Martha watched, feeling both relief and a pang of sadness. Her own efforts seemed invisible compared to a package from afar. Later, while Max napped, Martha tried to clean the kitchen, scrubbing cookie dough from the floor and rinsing mugs. She allowed herself a quiet moment at the window, rain streaking the glass. She remembered caring for Karen as a single mother, working double shifts, patching scraped knees, soothing heartbreaks. The ache of those years felt fresh, the old exhaustion settling on her shoulders again. Evening brought another round of struggles. Max wet the bed, Lily lost her charger and accused Max of hiding it. There were more tears, more slammed doors. Martha calmed Max, coaxed Lily into helping change the sheets, and tucked both children in with a story. As silence finally returned, Martha sank into her chair, drained. She stared at the family photo on the mantel. Karen, Rick, Lily, and Max, all smiles, all together. Martha felt both proud and uncertain. Caring for grandchildren, she realized, was not the gentle joy she'd pictured. It was chaos and heartbreak, worry and fierce love, demanding every bit of strength she had left. Upstairs, the children's breathing grew steady. Martha wiped her eyes, stood, and locked the doors for the night, bracing herself for another day. The 4th morning began with a burst of sunlight after days of rain. Martha dared to hope it might be easier. She opened windows to air out the stuffy house, then called Lily and Max down for breakfast. Max wanted cereal, Lily wanted to sleep in, but Martha insisted. Today they'd get outside, no arguments. After breakfast, Martha packed snacks and announced a trip to the park. Max cheered, bouncing in excitement. Lily protested, groaning that she didn't want to go anywhere boring, but Martha stood firm. She packed jackets, shoes, and finally got them out the door after a flurry of lost socks, missing keys, and forgotten water bottles. The walk to the park was chaos. Max dashed ahead, chasing birds, while Lily dragged her feet, sulking with earbuds wedged in. At the playground, Max raced for the swings, yelling for Martha to push him higher. Martha obliged, smiling despite her sore arms. Lily sat on the bench, thumbing her phone, only glancing up when a group of teens passed by, laughing loudly. Martha coaxed Lily to join her and Max for a snack on the grass. She unpacked crackers and fruit, urging Lily to share stories about school and friends. For a few moments, Lily softened, telling a funny story about a science project gone wrong. Martha laughed, grateful for the brief connection. Suddenly, Max darted toward the woods at the park's edge, chasing a stray dog. Martha shouted for him to stop, heart lurching as he disappeared behind the trees. She sprinted after him, fear flooding her chest. Lily jumped up, dropping her phone in the grass, panic in her eyes. Martha found Max tangled in a bush, scratched but safe, the dog gone. She hugged him tight, voice shaking, "Never run off like that again, you scared me." Max sniffled, promising to stay close. Lily retrieved her phone, hands trembling, and glared at her brother. "You're such a baby!" Max burst into tears, and Martha, fighting frustration, gathered both children and led them back to the main playground, heart still pounding. Back at home, exhaustion hit. Martha gave the kids an early lunch, mac and cheese, applesauce, juice boxes, then sent them upstairs for quiet time. She sat at the kitchen table, head in her hands, guilt mixing with relief. She replayed the moment Max ran off, the terror of not knowing where he was, the sharp edge of helplessness. The afternoon brought more squabbles. Max wanted to play with Lily, who wanted only to text her friends. Martha tried to mediate, suggesting a movie or baking again. Lily refused, sulking on the stairs, while Max pestered her until she screamed, "Leave me alone!" Martha separated them, sending Max to color at the kitchen table while she tried to reason with Lily upstairs. Lily finally confessed she missed her parents, that she felt weird all the time, that nothing at Grandma's house was the same. Martha listened, hugging her granddaughter close, whispering, "It's hard for all of us, honey. I'm just trying my best." That evening, Martha made spaghetti, one of Lily's favorites. Max spilled his juice, but for once, Lily didn't complain. After dinner, the three played cards in the living room, laughter breaking the tension. Lily won every hand, grinning wide, Max cheering, Martha feeling for the first time that maybe, just maybe, she could do this. As the children drifted off to bed, Martha tucked them in, pausing at their doors to listen to their breathing. Downstairs, she poured herself tea, feeling spent but hopeful, the day's chaos softened by a few hard-won moments of peace. Morning brought a sudden storm, wind rattling the windows, rain drumming so hard on the roof Martha woke in a panic, thinking for a moment she was back in her own childhood home. Down the hall, Max was already awake, thumping his feet against the wall, demanding breakfast. Lily wandered into the kitchen in pajamas, eyes heavy, hair tangled. Martha made oatmeal, adding honey and cinnamon like Karen used to for her. Max ate 2 bites and pushed his bowl away, claiming his stomach hurt. Lily, barely touching hers, scrolled her phone, fingers tapping out silent messages to friends. The room felt thick with tension. Suddenly, Max started to cry. He missed his mom, he wanted to call her, he didn't want to be stuck at Grandma's anymore. Lily snapped at him, "Stop being a baby. Mom and Dad will be back soon." Max only cried harder. Martha reached for him, pulling him into her lap, rocking gently, her heart twisting as she whispered soothing words. After breakfast, Martha tried to distract the children with games. She suggested coloring, reading, building a fort. Max grew clingy, shadowing Martha wherever she went, clutching her hand. Lily grew snappish, refusing everything, turning up her music to drown out the world. Every small inconvenience, a spilled drink, a tangled charger, a missing sock, felt like a new battle. The rain kept them inside all day. The house closed in around them. By noon, Martha's nerves were raw. She called Karen, but got voicemail again. She left a message, voice trembling. "The kids are struggling. Please call when you can." After lunch, Max napped on the couch, thumb in his mouth, face flushed with emotion. Lily retreated to her room, texting furiously. Martha stood at the window, watching rain stream down, loneliness closing around her. She missed the calm of her quiet days, the freedom to rest, to read, to think her own thoughts without interruption. Later, the power flickered, then went out. The house plunged into a gray hush. Max woke crying. Lily panicked, convinced her phone would die. Martha lit candles, rummaged for flashlights, and gathered the kids in the living room. She pulled blankets around their shoulders, told stories by candlelight, and tried to make the adventure seem fun. Max calmed, eventually asking for one of Grandma's stories about when Karen was little. Martha obliged, her voice growing steady as she recounted tales of snow days and lost mittens, of the time Karen had tried to bake a cake and filled the kitchen with flour. Lily even smiled, her face glowing in the candlelight. The lights came back just as Martha was promising one more story. Relief swept through the house. Max clapped, Lily grabbed her charger, and Martha slumped with exhaustion. That evening, dinner was leftovers and toast. Martha put the kids to bed early, soothing Max with gentle words and checking Lily's forehead for worry, not fever. Downstairs, the house finally quiet, Martha sat with her tea, staring at the flicker of the last candle. She felt hollowed out, stretched thin, but grateful for the small victories, a story, a smile, a moment of peace amid the storm. She climbed the stairs, checking the locks and listening for the sound of rain. In her own bed, she finally let herself cry, quiet tears for all she'd lost and all she was holding together. For tonight, the children slept. Tomorrow would come, with its own storms. The storm passed by morning, leaving a landscape washed clean and skies the color of pewter. Martha was awake before dawn, nerves stretched tight. She made coffee, savoring the brief hush before footsteps thundered down the stairs. Max barreled into the kitchen, already hungry, while Lily lagged behind, grumbling about her aching neck from sleeping all twisted during the blackout. Breakfast was a compromise: toast and bananas for Max, yogurt for Lily. There was little conversation. Martha sensed both children worn thin, patience in short supply. She tried to rally spirits, announcing, "Let's have a fresh start today, maybe bake something special together?" But Lily only shrugged, scrolling her phone. Max clung to Martha's arm, refusing to let go. The morning unraveled quickly. Max picked a fight with Lily over whose turn it was to choose the TV show. Shouts echoed down the hall, followed by Lily slamming her bedroom door and Max bursting into tears. Martha pulled Max onto her lap, trying to soothe him, but his sobs grew louder. "I want Mom. I want Dad," he wailed, face red and streaked with tears. Desperate, Martha called Karen again. This time, she got through. Karen sounded exhausted, her words rushed and clipped. "Rick's mother is still in the hospital. It's chaos here. I know it's hard, Mom. Just hang on. We'll be home in 2 days." The call ended, leaving Martha feeling even more alone. To distract the children, Martha suggested a walk to the library. Lily rolled her eyes, but agreed when Martha promised a treat from the bakery on the way home. Max protested at first, but relented when Martha offered to carry his favorite stuffed dinosaur in her purse. The walk was quiet, broken only by Lily's complaints about the wind and Max's questions about when their parents would be back. At the library, Lily disappeared into the teen section, texting friends in the corner. Max picked out a stack of picture books, begging Martha to read each one right there on the rug. She read until her throat hurt, voice growing hoarse. The librarian smiled kindly, pressing a sticker into Max's hand. He beamed for the first time that day. They stopped at the bakery, buying cookies and hot chocolate. Back home, Lily softened slightly, offering to help Max with a puzzle. Martha seized the chance for a quiet moment, drinking her coffee in the sunlit corner of the living room, letting the warmth seep into her bones. But the afternoon didn't last. A fight over the puzzle ended with Max in tears and Lily in her room, door slammed shut. Martha, stretched to her breaking point, finally raised her voice, a rare eruption, sharp and desperate. The children fell silent, eyes wide with surprise and hurt. Immediately, Martha felt a wave of guilt. She gathered Max in her arms, knocking softly on Lily's door until she let her in. "I'm sorry," Martha whispered. "I'm just so tired. I know this isn't easy for any of us." For a moment, all three huddled together on Lily's bed. Lily leaned her head against Martha's shoulder, quiet for the first time in days. Max's thumb found its way to his mouth, eyelids drooping. That night, bedtime was quieter. Martha read to Max until he fell asleep, tucked Lily in with an extra blanket, and lingered in the hallway, listening to the children's steady breathing. Downstairs, Martha finished her tea and stared into the darkness outside the window, wondering if she was doing any of this right, and if her daughter truly understood the cost of these endless, demanding days. She went to bed with a silent prayer that tomorrow would be gentler, for all of them. Morning sunlight broke through the curtains, gentle and warm, a rare gift after days of storm and tension. Martha woke to the faint sound of children whispering down the hall, an unfamiliar, tentative peace. For a moment, she let herself rest, listening as Max and Lily negotiated over what to watch on TV, their voices lower, more careful than before. Martha got up and joined them in the living room. Max greeted her with a sleepy smile, while Lily offered a half-hearted, "Morning, Grandma." Breakfast was quiet but civil. Cereal for Max, toast for Lily, coffee for Martha. She took comfort in the small truce, hoping it would last. With the sun shining, Martha suggested another walk, this time to the small pond at the edge of the neighborhood. To her surprise, both children agreed without much protest. They bundled into jackets, gathered snacks, and set out together. The world outside was bright and calm. Puddles sparkled on the sidewalk, birds sang in the trees. At the pond, Max threw pebbles into the water, watching ripples spread and fade. Lily sat on the grass, scrolling through her phone but occasionally glancing up, offering Max a smile or a tease. Martha snapped a few photos, longing to send them to Karen but worried they might mask how hard the week had really been. Back home, lunch was an easy affair: grilled cheese sandwiches, carrot sticks, apple slices. Lily helped clear the table, unasked. Martha thanked her, and Lily shrugged, hiding a tiny smile. Max napped, exhausted from fresh air and sunshine, giving Martha a precious hour of quiet. She sat in the garden, letting the peace soak into her. The afternoon brought another call from Karen, this time longer, her voice softer, full of gratitude and guilt. She updated Martha on Rick's mother, still no change, but hope for recovery. Karen promised they would return the next day, her voice breaking with relief. "I don't know how to thank you, Mom," she said. "I know it's been so hard." Martha reassured her daughter, though the fatigue in her bones made her words heavy. She hung up and found Lily quietly reading in her room, a book Martha had loved as a child. "Do you want to talk?" Martha asked, unsure. Lily hesitated, then nodded, sharing stories about school, her worries, and even a few gentle complaints about Max. For the first time, the two laughed together, bridging the gap the week had carved. When Max woke, he was clingy but calmer. They spent the evening playing a board game, Martha losing spectacularly, Lily crowing with victory, Max clapping his hands with delight. The kitchen filled with laughter, and Martha, for the first time all week, felt something close to joy. As she tucked the children into bed, Lily surprised her with a quick hug. "Thanks for trying, Grandma," she whispered. Max demanded his usual 3 hugs and 2 kisses, pressing his face to Martha's shoulder. Downstairs, Martha sat with a cup of tea and allowed herself a quiet sigh of relief. The hardest days seemed behind her. She knew she was exhausted, frayed to the core, but as she looked around at the scattered toys and rumpled blankets, she felt the stubborn pride of someone who had survived the storm. Tomorrow, Karen would return. For now, Martha let herself rest, heart full and aching, eyes drifting closed as dusk settled over the house. Morning dawned with clear blue skies and a stillness that felt almost sacred. Martha woke early, nerves humming with anticipation. Today Karen and Rick would return. She moved quietly through the house, preparing breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, and the last of the strawberries. Max woke first, bounding into the kitchen with a tired but hopeful smile. Lily appeared soon after, hair neatly brushed, phone forgotten on the counter. They ate together in a calm that felt hard-won. Martha looked at her grandchildren, faces flushed with sleep, quieter now, somehow older. She wondered if they felt it too, the strange bond formed by shared hardship. Karen's text came just before noon, "On our way. Home in an hour. Thank you, Mom. You saved us." Martha replied simply, "Drive safe. We're waiting." The last hour stretched long. Martha straightened the living room, packed up the stray toys, gathered clothes from under beds. Lily helped without complaint, Max shadowing them with his dinosaur clutched to his chest. They sat by the window, watching for headlights on the drive. When Karen and Rick finally arrived, the house filled with voices and movement. Karen swept her children into her arms, tears brimming in her eyes. "I missed you so much, my babies." Rick hugged Martha, genuine gratitude in his voice. "We couldn't have done this without you." Martha smiled, exhaustion softening into relief. Karen pulled her aside in the kitchen, voice low. "Mom, I know it wasn't easy. You did more than I ever could have asked." Martha just shook her head. "They're good kids. It's just harder than I remembered." Karen nodded, eyes full. "We'll try to give you a real break next time." The house shifted as Karen unpacked, Rick called his mother's hospital, and Lily and Max retold their adventures in breathless bursts. Martha listened, feeling the pulse of family life swirl around her, both grateful and strangely adrift. When the goodbyes came, Max clung to her, Lily whispered, "Thanks, Grandma," her voice shy but true. Karen pressed an envelope into Martha's hand, a thank you card and a small photo of the 3 of them together that week. "For your fridge. To remember you survived us," Karen joked. At home, Martha collapsed into her favorite chair. The silence felt different now, no longer lonely, but peaceful. She looked at the card and photo, tears pricking her eyes. The house was hers again, quiet, safe, but forever changed by the wild storm of love and chaos. That night, as Martha made herself a simple supper and watered her hydrangeas, she thought about how easily care could tip from joy to nightmare, and back again. She had doubted, lost her patience, nearly broken under the weight. But she had loved, fiercely and wholly, and for now that was enough. Martha went to bed early, the house holding its breath around her. Tomorrow would be hers alone, but she knew, if asked, she'd open her door again, chaos and all.